Good morning. This is the new chapter of a monthly talk of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. At the house of Balaram, Master was having a short nap. Balaram's house is known as the drawing room of Sri Ramakrishna for whenever he visited Calcutta. He used to stay there. Master M. Balaram and few other devotees are going to visit Girish Chandra Ghosh's house. Girish has arranged a festival to celebrate Master's coming. Among the devotees, Ram, Bhavanath, Narendra, Mahima are coming one by one. Mahimacharan Chakravarti is an admirer of Master who frequented Dakshineshwar long before the devotees started coming. Mahimacharan does not believe in avatars or incarnations. He devoted his time to religious thoughts and to the study of the scriptures. He is a man of some scholarship, having studied many books, both Sanskrit and English. The discussion started between Girish and Mahimacharan on divine incarnation or avatars. Mahima says, all could become divine by means of sadhana or by practice of yoga, which was strongly refuted by Girish. What is incarnation or avatar? Incarnation is a personal aspect of Brahman with form. Divine incarnations assume human form for the sake of devotees who follow the path of bhakti to realize God. Divine incarnations come to the world to establish virtue, to destroy evil, and to save the good of the world. Swami Ranganathananda says in Message of Upanishads, quote, personalities are more evident in incarnations, startling, gigantic, impressive, world-moving persons stand before us as it were for the first time. Incarnation is he who is the greatest preacher of the Vedas that ever existed. Unquote. Mahimacharan once asked Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, can a man come back from a state of samadhi? The master had replied that when God incarnates, he can return from a state of samadhi. Thank you.
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ते भूरिता जनाः. O Lord, your words, like sweet nectar, refresh the afflicted. Your words, which poets have sung in verses, vanquish the sins of the worldly. Blessed are they who hear of you, and blessed indeed are they who speak of you. How great is their reward. Chapter 40 of the Gospel. Friday, 24th April 1885. The Master at the houses of Balaram and Girish. About 1 o'clock in the afternoon, M arrived at Balaram's house in Calcutta and found the Master asleep in the drawing room, one or two devotees resting near him. That means Sri Ramakrishna has come early. So after lunch, he's taking a short nap. And one or two devotees who had come with him are also there resting next to him. M began to fan the Master gently. Remember, it's April, it's very hot there in Calcutta. So M took the fan and started fanning him. A few minutes later, Sri Ramakrishna woke up and sat on the bed, with his clothes in a rather untidy fashion. M saluted him and took the dust of his feet. See, we say Sri Ramakrishna's incarnation, but behaves like just an ordinary person. After lunch, he's having a short rest. When incarnation, God takes a human form, he assumes all the human nature, behaves like a human being. If he behaves like God, then how can we approach him? What is a God comes down to human level to lift us up. And if he remains as God showing all the glory, then we won't be able to approach him. So he behaves just like an ordinary person, eating, sleeping, happy, sad, getting sick. Sri Ramakrishna got sick, and then he fractured an arm. All these things happened, and then in the end, he suffered from throat cancer, just like any other human being. Master tenderly to him, "Are you well? I'm feeling rather uneasy. I have a sore in my throat. I suffer very much during the early hours of the morning. Can you tell me how I may be cured?" See, this is April. It's 1885. It's the beginning of the cancer. Later, by September, it was already diagnosed as cancer, and then he was taken to Calcutta for treatment. While Sri Ramakrishna was talking, his mouth became dry. He said to Yam like a child, "I feel a dryness in my mouth. Do you feel that way?" Yam to Jogin, as one of the young disciples, "Is your mouth also drying up?" Jogin, "No. Perhaps it is due to the heat." "Well, my mouth is drying up. Shall I eat a pear or a jam rule?" Sri Ramakrishna is asking all these people as though he's so much worried about his mouth drying up or his sore throat. Barbara, sorry, Barbara, let me get you a jam rule for you. It's one of the fruits that we have, a juicy fruit. Master, you don't have to go out in the sun. It's hot summer. So Sri Ramakrishna said, "No, don't go." M had a little leisure in the afternoon after the lunch break. So at that time he had come. His school is close by, near Balaram's house. So in that lunch break time, he had come. So now his time he has to go back to school. And then in the evening, after the school is over, he came back again. Yam taught in a school in the neighborhood. He had a little recess at 1 o'clock, during which he visited Sri Ramakrishna. Yam's school closed at 4 o'clock. He came back to Balaram's house and found the master sitting in the drawing room. The devotees were arriving one by one. See, when Sri Ramakrishna comes to Calcutta, somebody or other will inform all the other devotees, and then they all will come one by one whenever they can, because everybody don't have the opportunity to go to Dakshineshwar all the time. So when he comes to Calcutta, they all make use of the opportunity to come and spend time with him. So now, and Balaram is always happy to entertain them. His house was open house, as we heard Nityatmaprana saying. Balaram's house is said to be Sri Ramakrishna's drawing room. Everybody can come there to meet master. The devotees were arriving one by one. The younger Naren and Ram came. There are, and Narendra is there. Then there is another person, young boy, the same with the name Narendra. So he used to be called the younger Naren, to distinguish between the two. Narendra too was there. M saluted the master and took a seat. Sri Ramakrishna was about to, dusk was coming in. Sri Ramakrishna was about to go to the house of Girish, who had arranged a festival to celebrate the master's coming. The master came down from the second floor of Balaram's house with Yam and a few other devotees. Those who have gone to Calcutta will know, Girish's house is not far from Balaram's house. It's all close in the same area, just another street, that's all. So whenever Sri Ramakrishna came to any of these devotees' house, they will organize a festival. They'll get somebody to sing devotional songs and invite all the other devotees. So it's always a big festival. So Girish has organized arranging a festival. Near the gate, just coming out of Balaram's house, near the gate, he saw a beggar chanting the name of Rama, and he stood still. He fell into a meditative mood and remained standing a few minutes. Just anybody, a beggar is repeating God's name, and that's enough to send Sri Ramakrishna into a meditative mood. He said to him, he sings well. The devotee gave beggar some money. See, when Madhur Babu, the proprietor, was there, whatever Sri Ramakrishna wanted, he did, because he looked upon Sri Ramakrishna as his chosen deity. Because he saw Madhur had a vision in Sri Ramakrishna as Shiva and Kali. One day Madhur was sitting in the proprietor's house next to very close to Clark, and just outside the Kali temple, the same compound. And from there he could see Sri Ramakrishna's veranda, and he saw Sri Ramakrishna walking up and down. And then suddenly he saw one way Sri Ramakrishna is walking, it was not Sri Ramakrishna, it was Shiva. And when he's turning back and walking, it was Mother Kali. He saw that few times. He rubbed his eyes. Am I having vision? Am I hallucinating? No, he rubbed his eyes and again saw the same thing. That convinced him that Sri Ramakrishna is not just an ordinary person. He is Mother Kali taken a human form. And Girish, once he organized some musicians and kept heap of coins in front of Sri Ramakrishna. And drama, religious drama, what they call yatra. Some person's acting was so good, Sri Ramakrishna liked that very much. He pushed the whole money, the whole heap of coins toward that person. Then Madhur put another heap of coin. He called the next person. It was as soon as he pushed it, he'll give another bunch of coins. It went on like that. So whenever Sri Ramakrishna appreciated, that means that person is really putting heart and soul into the acting or singing, whatever it is. Here, Sri Ramakrishna said, he sings well. So immediately, one devotee paid some money to the beggar. Sri Ramakrishna entered Bospara Lane, where Girish's house is. Laughing, he said to him, what are these people saying? Here comes Paramahamsa's battalion. What these fools say? Sri Ramakrishna is called Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa is the swan, royal swan. So those people who didn't like Sri Ramakrishna, or they used to make fun. Here comes the swan. And then they used to make this sound, quack, quack. That's like. And our Gayatriprana Maharaj used to say, our first President Maharaj, who was attendant of Holy Mother and her disciple also, she grew up in that area, in Bospara, Bagh Bazar, close to Bospara Lane. And she was a student of Nivedita school. But before that, she used to say when they were young, they used to, when they used to see the monks going, they knew they were all followers of Paramahamsa. And they will say, there goes Paramahamsa's group. Quack, quack. What are these people saying? There goes Paramahamsa's battalion. What are these fools saying? Sri Ramakrishna entered Girish's house. The latter had invited a large number of devotees to join the festival. Many of them were present. They all stood up to receive the master, who, smiling, took his seat. The devotees sat around him. Among them were Girish, Mahimacharan, Ram, and Bhavanath, and also Balaram, Narendra, Yogin, Yanganaran, Chuni, Balaram, Yam, and other devotees who had accompanied the master from Balaram's house. Many of these names you see again and again when you read the gospel, because they are all, many of them are very close devotees, and some of them became the future monks. Master to Mahimacharan, I said to Girish about you, there is one very deep. You are only knee deep. Now you must help me check up on what I have said. I want to see you two argue, but don't compromise. All laugh. So he is telling to Mahimacharan. Mahimacharan is interested in the path of knowledge. He has studied many scriptures, and he has a big library full of books. And Girish also is very intelligent person. So Sri Ramakrishna wants them to argue, debate. And she says to Mahima that he told to Girish about Mahimacharan. One is very deep. You are only knee deep. Mahimacharan is very deep. So but now both of you argue and let me see. Girish and Mahimacharan started their discussion. Soon Ramchandra Datta. Let them stop. Let's have some kirtan. He's not interested in this discussion. He wanted to hear devotional singing. Master to Ram. No, this has great deal of meaning. They are Englishmen. I want to hear what they say. When Sri Ramakrishna says Englishmen, anybody who has studied English or gone to university, they are all Englishmen for him. Mahimacharan contended that all could become Krishna by means of sadhana. Girish said that Sri Krishna was an incarnation of God. However much a man practiced sadhana, he could never be an incarnation. So these are two viewpoints. Mahimacharan held the view that by means of sadhana, anybody can become an incarnation, like Krishna. Girish said no. Incarnation is different. Nobody can, by sadhana, you can attain knowledge, you can attain a high state, but you can never become an incarnation of God. That's the two views. Mahima, do you know what I mean? Let me give an illustration. The bale tree can become a mango tree if only the obstructions are removed. It can be done by the practice of yoga. Remove all the obstructions, and then it can become, the ordinary person can become an incarnation. Girish, you may say whatever you like, but it can never be done either by the practice of yoga or by anything else. Only a Krishna can become Krishna. Only an incarnation can be an incarnation. Only God can come down as incarnation. Ordinary people cannot become incarnation. If anybody has all the attributes of another person, Radha, for instance, then he is none other than that person, Radha herself. If I see in a person all the attributes of Krishna, then I shall conclude that I am seeing Krishna himself. That's Girish's argument. If all the attributes of Krishna is in one person, that person is Krishna. Whereas Mahima's argument was, if you remove all the obstructions, that person can become Krishna. No, that's not correct. Through sadhana, a person can, there are 4 stages in the Bhakti tradition. There are 4 stages of enlightenment or salvation, they say. Samipya, going near. living near, after the body falls off, living near God, your chosen deity. Sarupya, appearing, having the same appearance. Salokya, living in the same region, the level of existence. And Sayujya, becoming one with that. You may become one with God, but you don't become God. When you become one with God, your existence is completely gone. Whereas you don't become God. You don't get God. When we say God, God is a creator, preserver, destroyer. That attributes can never come to a jiva, an ordinary being who has attained that stage. But on the path of knowledge, when you realize Brahman, you become Brahman. Your identity is completely gone. You become one with that. Then there is nothing, there is no creation or destruction, anything. Nothing is there. Only Brahman is there. There's a two different path. Path of knowledge, path of devotion. And one is when the path of devotion, you reach Brahman with form attributes, name, form, attributes. Whereas in the path of knowledge, you reach Brahman, which is nameless, formless, attributeless. There is nothing. Only Brahman is there. Mahimadaran could not argue well. So Sri Ramakrishna said Mahima is very deep. But no, he was not very deep. He could not argue well. At last, he had to accept Girish's views. Mahima to Girish. Yes, sir, both views are right. No, he's saying both are correct. God has willed the path of knowledge. He has also willed the path of bhakti. Pointing to Sri Ramakrishna. As he says, by different paths, people ultimately reach one and the same goal. Master. You see, what I said was right, wasn't it? Mahima. Yes, sir. As you say, both paths are right. All the paths lead to the same goal. Master pointing to Girish. Haven't you noticed how deep his faith is? About Girish's faith, he's commenting to Mahimajaran. He forgot to eat his refreshments. The refreshments were kept there, but in the heat of argument, he had forgotten to eat the refreshments. Like a dog, he would have torn your throat if you hadn't accepted his view. But we have enjoyed the discussion. You two have known each other, and I myself have learned many things. The musician arrived with his party and sat in the middle of the room. He was waiting for a sign from Sri Ramakrishna to begin the kirtan. The master gave his permission. So then the music goes on. So usually that's how they organize festival. There will be musician will be singing, and often Sri Ramakrishna joins them, and quite often there'll be dancing. He gets into an ecstatic mood and he starts dancing. Girish to the master. After the music, there was, again they started talking. Girish to master. Sir, what is egangi prema? Egangi prema. Master. It means one-sided love. For instance, the water does not seek the duck, but the duck loves water. So one-sided love. I love you, but you don't love me. That is one-sided love. There are other kinds of love. Sadharani, Samanjasa, and Samartha. In the first, which is ordinary love, the lover seeks his own happiness. He doesn't care whether the other person is happy or not. I want to be happy. I don't bother at all whether you are happy or not. That is the ordinary love. In the second, which is a compromise, which seeks each other's happiness. I want to be happy and I want you to be happy. Both. This is the noble kind. This is a noble kind of love. The first one is I want to be happy. Extremely selfish. I don't bother. I don't care what you want. You are happy or not. But the second one is a noble kind. I want to be happy and I want you to be happy also. But the third is the highest of all. Such a lover says to his beloved, be happy yourself, whatever may happen to me. The gopis had attained that ecstatic state. There is one story. I don't know whether it is in the Bhagavatam, but there's a story that Narada, the great devotee, he often has the feeling that he is the greatest devotee. So one day when Narada came to Krishna, Krishna is not well. He's got terrible headache. So why can't your doctors, the physicians, can't they give some remedy for it? No, they have tried everything. Nothing's good. No remedy at all. Yeah, there is one medicine is there, cure, but it's very hard to get. What is it? Whatever it is, if it is available anywhere in the world, in the three worlds, I'll bring it. It's not that difficult to get. Just have to get the dust from the feet of the devotee, make a paste and apply on the forehead. The headache will go. That's very easy. You've got so many devotees all over the world. I'll get. He first went to the queens. They said, what? Putting the dust from our feet on Krishna's head? No. What is it? We'll be straight thrown to the hell. Then he went to different places, came back. No, at last came to Krishna. It's very hard. As you said, it's very, very hard to get. Then Krishna said, well, go to Vrindavan and try whether the gopis, try to ask the gopis. Narada forgot that he himself is a great devotee. And then Narada went to Vrindavan, and seeing Narada, the gopis, the milkmaids were so happy. Where are you coming from? I'm coming from Dwaraka. How is Krishna? How is our Krishna? He has got terrible headache. No medicine, no cure? Yes, it is. There is, but it's very hard to get. What is it? Oh, you have to take the dust of the devotee's feet, make a paste and apply on the forehead, on his forehead. Is that all? Come, take the dust from our feet. What are you saying? You will be going to hell. You are putting your dust from your feet, means putting your feet on your Lord's head. Who cares where we go? How much we suffer? As long as Krishna is happy, that's all we want. That is the highest form of love. I don't care what suffering comes to me. I want my beloved to be happy. Be happy yourself, whatever may happen to me. Radha had this highest love. She was happy in Krishna's happiness. The gopis too had attained this exalted love. Do you know who the gopis were? Ramchandra, that is Sri Rama in the earlier incarnation. Ramchandra was wandering in the forest where 60,000 rishis dwelt. They were very eager to see him. He cast a tender glance at them. According to a certain Purana, they were born later on as the gopis of Vrindavan, so that they will get a closer association with the Lord. A devotee. Sir, who may be called an antaranga? Devotees are can be different categories, antaranga and bahiranga. Who may be called an antaranga? Master. Let me give an illustration. A nat mandir has pillars inside and outside. See, in the temples in India, there is veranda all around. Not exactly veranda, but what you call, what is the term that used? I don't know. But where people can walk around the temple, but from around the sanctum sanctorum. So that is called nat mandir. And there are pillars or a hall in front also. There are pillars inside, outside. So Antarangas is like the inside pillar. Those who always live near the Guru are the Antarangas. When Sri Ramakrishna was suffering from the cancer, some of the young disciples, especially when he was taken to Calcutta for treatment, some of the young disciples started living with him, staying with him to look after. Holy Mother went from Dakshineshwar and she was doing all the cooking the special diet for Sri Ramakrishna, and the young disciples stayed to look after him. And the householder devotees, they paid the expense. They bore the expense. These young people, they were all students. They don't have any money, and the parents are always objecting. So they don't get money even to come to boat fare or bus fare, carriage fare. They didn't have. Many times when they came to Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna used to pay their carriage fare or ask them to go with some of the householder devotees going back to Calcutta. So the householders bore the expenses and they'll come once in a while whenever they can. And the young disciple stayed with him. So one day, Sri Ramakrishna, you can gospel towards the end, you can see Sri Ramakrishna is telling M, those devotees who are staying there and looking after him, they are the Antarangas, inner circle. And those who come once in a while and say, how are you, sir? And then go home, they are the outer circle, Bahirangas. Those who always live near the Guru are the Antarangas. To Mahimacharan. A jnani wants neither a form of God nor his incarnation. While wandering in the forest, Ramchandra saw a number of rishis. They welcomed him to their ashrama with great love and said to him, O Rama, today our life is blessed because we have seen you. But we know you as the son of Dasharatha. Bharadwaja and other sages call you the divine incarnation, but that is not our view. We meditate on the indivisible Satchidananda. Rama was pleased with them and smiled. Sri Rama had to spend 14 years in the forest. That was what his father asked him to do. And he went round spending time with the sages in the forest. So the sages were very happy to see him. But then they said they are the followers of, many of them are followers of the path of knowledge. They did not believe in divine incarnation. They meditated on Satchidananda, the non-dual Brahman. So they told him, Rama, we are happy. We are blessed that have seen you. But we look upon you as the son of Dasharatha, King Dasharatha. That's all for us. There are some sages like Bharadwaja who looked upon Rama as the incarnation. But that's not our view. We meditate on Satchidananda, the non-dual Brahman. Sri Rama just smiled because he himself is Satchidananda, taken as human form, that's all. Whether you are following, meditating on the God with form or without form, you are reaching the same goal. But each one has got his or her own preference, depending upon our tendencies. But Bhagavad Gita says the path of meditating on the non-dual Brahman is very, very difficult. The goal, which is the unmanifest, is attained with difficulty by the embodied ones. Avyaktahi gidurtukham dehavadbhiravapyate. In the 12th chapter, Sri Krishna says. Because we are so conscious of the body, we are always conscious of the body. So how can you say that I'm not this body? Everything's unreal. Brahman alone is real. It's very hard. We may say all that, lip service. But somebody just calls you a fool, then all this Brahman gone. We will be saying everything, I am Brahman, everything else, whatever is seeing is Brahman. This world is just an appearance. But one word is enough to throw off that point. So it's very, very hard, very hard. Very few people can have that steadily remain on that path of knowledge. It is easier for majority of humanity to think of God with form and qualities. Oh, what a state of mind I passed through. My mind would lose itself in the indivisible absolute. How many days I spent that way? I renounced bhakti and bhakta, devotion and devotee. I became inert. I could not feel the form of my own head. I was about to die. See, Sri Ramakrishna, when he studied Vedanta, practiced Vedanta disciplines under Totapuri, he attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the state of non-dual Brahman. And he remained in that state. For 3 days, within 3 days, he was sitting there, and for 3 days, Totapuri took 40 years to reach that state. And Sri Ramakrishna, 3 days he was remaining there. And then Totapuri had to try his best, repeating Om, Om, Om again and again to bring the mind down. See, the idea or thought of which took the mind to the highest level or the deepest level, whatever we want to say, that again will bring the mind slowly back to the normal state. That's why often we see when Sri Ramakrishna goes into Samadhi, hearing devotional singing, then the devotees will chant the name of Krishna or Divine Mother, depending upon what was the trigger. If it is if singing was on devotional singing was on Krishna, they will chant Krishna's name. Or if it is on Divine Mother, Mother Kali's name, to bring the mind slowly back to the normal consciousness. And now Sri Ramakrishna is remembering the days after that Nirvikalpa Samadhi experience. He says, oh, what a state I passed through. My mind would lose itself in the indivisible absolute. How many days I spent that way. I renounced bhakti and bhakta, devotion and devotee. I became inert. I could not feel the form of my own head. I was about to die. I thought of keeping Ramlal's aunt near me. Ramlal's aunt means Holy Mother. Just as a some sort of idea to bring the mind down. We can see when in the gospel, when Sri Ramakrishna goes into Samadhi, he will say sometimes, I'll have a drink of water, I'll drink water, I'll smoke. So these are some sort of indication to pull the mind down, to bring it back to normal consciousness, to the ordinary plane of consciousness. I ordered the removal of all pictures and portraits from my room. Sri Ramakrishna had in his room, he had pictures of gods and goddesses. Now all that was removed because he is in the state of non-dual Brahman. When I regained outer consciousness, when the mind climbed down to the ordinary level, I felt as if I were being suffocated like a drowning person. Because he had become so accustomed to that high state that coming down, he felt like a fish out of water. The lower existence, lower plane of existence, he could not bear. So he felt suffocated. At last, I said to myself, if I can't bear people, then how shall I live? Then my mind was again directed to bhakti and bhakta. What has happened to me? I kept asking people. Bholanath said to me, Bholanath is one of the officers in the temple garden, temple. Bholanath said to me, this state of mind has been described in the Mahabharata. When a man, how can a man live on coming down from this plane of samadhi? Surely he requires devotion to God and the company of devotees. Otherwise, how will he keep his mind occupied? Coming down from the state of samadhi, where you have been absorbed in the non-dual Brahman, coming down, you need something to hold on to keep the mind on the lower level. And that is devotion, keeping the company of devotees. Another time we see a devotee asking Sri Ramakrishna, have all your desires been fulfilled? Sri Ramakrishna says how it is very necessary to be rid of desires. So he says, simple desires you fulfill, harmless desires you fulfill and get it. Harmful desires, if you realize it is harmful, reason it out and remove from the mind. So he's asking, this devotee is asking, have all your desires been fulfilled? He says, no, I have got a few desires. I would like to enjoy the company of devotees, chant the name of God, visit his devotees. Those desires are there. He has kept those desires to keep the body on the ordinary level of consciousness. After Sri Ramakrishna's passing away, Holy Mother was in a very high level of, her mind was always about to merge in the absolute. But she has got work to do. So Sri Ramakrishna brought Radhu as the prop. When Radhu is Holy Mother's niece, her father has passed away, mother was completely mad. So who is going to look after the child, baby, young child? So one day the mad aunt was going and this little baby was crawling behind her. Sri Ramakrishna immediately appeared before Holy Mother and said, you take her as the prop. You have to go. We have got work to do. You cannot, when God takes a human form, he comes for the welfare of humanity. If remaining as God, always absorbed in samadhi, what's the purpose of taking a human form? Or getting absorbed, merged in the Brahman and giving up the body, then what was the point of taking a human body? That is why Holy Mother was asked to use Radhu as the prop. And you can see, and people used to think that, oh, Mother is so attached to Radhu. So much attachment. That is just to hold her mind down to the ordinary level. If the mind is getting merged in samadhi, the whole purpose of incarnation is come to nothing. The same with Swami Vivekananda, when after he experienced Nirvikalpa Samadhi in Kasipur, he told Sri Ramakrishna, I want to remain absorbed in that. Sri Ramakrishna said, this experience will be kept under lock and key. You have got work to do. When your work is finished, then you will experience this again. So they come for a mission. Till that mission is fulfilled, they cannot go. They have to remain in the world for the good of humanity. How can a man live on coming down from the state of plane of samadhi? Surely he requires devotion to God and the company of devotees. Mahimajaran to the master. Sir, can a man return from the plane of samadhi to the plane of ordinary world? Can a person return from the plane of samadhi to the ordinary world? Master. You see, there is a vast difference between the jiva and Ishvara. Through worship and austerity, a jiva can at the most attain samadhi, but he cannot come down from that state. On the other hand, an incarnation of God can come down from samadhi. Now, there are various levels of samadhi. The lowest level is when the person is not conscious of the body. Just like when we are in deep sleep, we are not conscious of the body, but the mind is working. That's the lowest level of samadhi. Then, still higher level, deeper, when the connection with the mind is broken to a large extent. Only a very subtle sense of I conscious remains. For jiva, Sri Ramakrishna is talking about the difference between jiva and that jiva means ordinary human being and an incarnation of God. Incarnation is also a human form. God taking a human form, it's a big difference. Through practice of austerities, the ordinary person can attain the state of samadhi, but cannot come back to the ordinary plane and engage in all activities, just as others are, as he or she was doing before attaining the samadhi. But incarnation can. Now, what happens with the ordinary person, jiva? As the mind goes deeper and deeper into meditation, a stage comes when the mind ceases to function. Just like deep sleep. Deep sleep, the mind does not function. And still further, if you go, that samadhi state, there is no desires. But the difference between deep sleep and samadhi, in deep sleeps also the mind does not function. In samadhi also, the mind does not function. But there is a difference. In the deep sleep state comes naturally. We all go to have deep sleep even for a short time, even at least for a short time at night when we sleep. We may drift into sleep, then we have dreams. Again, before waking up, perhaps again we may have dreams, but a short period there when there is no dreams also. That's what they call the deep sleep, dreamless sleep. In Sanskrit, they call sushupti. That happens to us every day naturally. We go to deep sleep, we come out the same person. Went to sleep with so many problems, so much of doubts, woke up with the same problems, same doubts, not change. No change in the person. Mind did not function at that time. In samadhi also, mind does not function. But the difference is you go into samadhi, mind shuts down. But you come out a knower, a wise person. Because all the ignorance is completely removed. It's the ignorance, the feeling that I'm doing all these things, I'm experiencing all these things. This idea, that's the cause of ignorance. And that is removed in the state of samadhi. Ignorance is removed, and once ignorance is removed, the person is enlightened. So you come out from samadhi as a wise person. You come out from deep sleep, the same ignorant person. No difference. Swamiji says, you go, a fool goes to sleep, deep sleep, wake up fool. A fool goes into samadhi, wakes up an enlightened person. That's the only difference. In deep sleep and samadhi, mind does not work. Mind is shut down, but there's a big difference. So we can say there are three different states when we don't know, we are not aware of anything. Even the I consciousness goes. When the person is unconscious, we had a lot of discussion on this on the Friday. This last Friday, we had big discussion on this point. Deep sleep and samadhi, and also when we don't even lose the I consciousness. Unconscious state, then deep sleep, and samadhi. In these three states, we are not aware of anything, completely unaware. In deep sleeps, what do you say? When we come out, when we wake up, I didn't know anything. Unconscious, do you know? There's a gap there is no connection. What happened during that time when we are unconscious? You don't know anything. And samadhi. Now, samadhi can be attained through the path of yoga or path of knowledge or devotion. All will give you the state of samadhi. Yoga, in the Yoga Sutra, the second sutra says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is stopping all the modifications of the mind. And the comparison they given is, you throw a stone into the lake, the surface is disturbed. The water is disturbed into waves, and you can't see the bottom. So when all those waves are stopped, the surface is clear, undisturbed, then you can see right at the bottom of the lake. You can see the small pebbles, fish moving, everything can see. Our mind is like that. Mind is disturbed. When all those disturbance of the mind is stopped, then Atman, the self which is already there, will shine forth. Now, what is the stone that is thrown into causing the disturbance in the mind? The impulses that come from external world, the impressions we get through the five senses, or it can be impressions which are already there in the mind, coming up from the subconscious mind. See, when we are sitting quietly, then you notice the mind is so much disturbed. At other times, you don't notice. You think your mind is calm, you have got your mind under control. But when you sit for meditation, then you realize your mind is disturbed. Why? At other times, you're doing different things. The mind is all in a choppy way, motion, and you are not paying attention also. So you don't realize the mind is choppy. But when you sit quietly, the body is still, then you realize the mind is disturbed. The mind can be disturbed through external impressions or from the mental impressions which are already there in the subconscious mind. Both can bring out. And stopping this is yoga. The whole purpose of yoga is stopping these modifications of the mind. In the path of knowledge also, we can attain state of samadhi because you realize that everything is Brahman. Your mind is not disturbed because whatever happens, you realize everything is seen as Brahman. Swami Vivekananda, as Narendra, had that experience when Sri Ramakrishna touched him. He was, those who have read the gospel, you remember, Narendra was joking and laughing with Hazra, saying that, oh, he is saying that, means Sri Ramakrishna is saying, this pot is Brahman, this cup is Brahman. What a ridiculous thing. And Sri Ramakrishna came out from his room and touched Narendra. And he experienced everything as consciousness, pure consciousness. He was not seeing anything. He was seeing people, things, but as though in a dream, as though everything is hazy. He went back to Calcutta, went home. Mother is serving food, but he is seeing mother, the food, everything as consciousness. It continued for a week. Then it reduced the intensity, that experience. Then he started seeing everything as though in a dream. When you have that experience, your mind won't be disturbed. You are seeing everything as Brahman. There also, mind is undisturbed and the self Brahman shines forth. Samadhi can be attained through different ways. Can be yoga samadhi or the path of knowledge, even the bhakti. Bhakti also leads you to the same thing, but it is not nirvikalpa samadhi. That's a different samadhi. But samadhi can be attained through any of these means. On the other, to the question when a person can come down to the state of samadhi, through worship and austerity, a jiva can at the most attain samadhi, but he cannot come down from that state. Ordinary person, what happens when attains state of samadhi? The link between the mind and the higher self and the body is broken. The feeling is there, that gone. Then that person cannot function anymore. So Sri Ramakrishna says, within 20, a person attains samadhi, ordinary person, jiva, within 21 days the body falls off. Why 21 days? Because of the past momentum. You cut the roots of the tree. The tree will, the tree doesn't die the next day. It takes slowly it will die. We had a tree in the front yard in Tapovan, and we suddenly saw the new shoots have come up. It's a liquid amber. So as spring came, new shoots are coming and they're all dropping, falling. Then we realized it has been poisoned. It took a few weeks for the tree to die. Almost 2 months it took. So when attained samadhi, doesn't take 2 months. Sri Ramakrishna says 3 weeks, 21 days. The momentum goes on and then the body falls off. But in the case of incarnation, because they come for a purpose, for a mission, they can come down. They can come to ordinary plane of consciousness and deal with the people, deal with the world, interact with the world, because they have got a mission to fulfill. They have got a purpose to fulfill. So Sri Ramakrishna gives the example. Jiva is like an officer of the king. He can go as far as the outer court of the 7-story palace. But the king's son has access to all the 7 floors. He can go also outside. The ordinary officer can go to the outer court, whereas the prince can go up and down anyway. The incarnation is like the prince. He can go, be in the state of samadhi, come down to the ordinary plane, interact with people, just for the good of the world. Everybody says that no one can return to the plane of samadhi. In that case, how do you account for sages like Shankara and Ramanuja? They retain the ego of knowledge. In ordinary people, the ego is gone. So we cannot come back. Ordinary person cannot come back from the plane of samadhi. Whereas the incarnations keep the ego of knowledge for helping humanity. So they can come down from the plane of samadhi to the ordinary plane. We will continue again next month.
This week we have the yoga class on Thursday. This Friday night we have the spiritual evening discussion led by Gayatriprana, Bhagavad Gita discussion. And next Sunday, I know the topic, the talk that Gayatriprana is going to give is a pretty interesting one. It's the relevance of Bhagavad Gita in 21st century. She gave that talk at the Theosophical Society. So I encourage you to come along for that, be of particular interest. And also next Sunday, there's the Gita class via Microsoft Teams in the evening from 8 to 9 p.m, led by Gayatriprana. We had mentioned in the current calendar that we were having a meditation day on Sunday, the 8th of June. We've put it back a bit. It's now going to be, or proposing to have it on the 22nd of June. As usual, we want to be sure we've got a bit of a group for the day. So we're wishing to get 15 names down on a list to attend. If we can get some numbers for the day, then we'll be sure to go ahead with it. So if you're planning to attend, let us know. Now we'll conclude with a guided meditation. Need a couple of minutes to set up for that.